Hey, Yusuf. Um, where is it? Hang on a second, Yusuf. Sorry. Apologies, Yusuf. What time is your flight coming in on the day? Um, let's see. It will be at 7 a.m. is when my flight comes in. But it'll be like another hour or two before I get through customs and all that. What's this here? Alright, hello, everybody. I'm getting some stuff, just getting prepped here. Trying to find a certain spot I need to use. It's actually pretty hard to find. Yes. Okay, got it. Cool. That works. Let's do that. Hey, good evening, Hisa. Good evening. How are you doing today? Good evening, Chioma. How are you? I hope you're doing well. I'm very good. Hello, Pistache. How we doing? Go with this thing. Big Chimpin, good evening. Chimpin, I ain't gonna lie. I thought you said good morning. I'm like, wait, what? Angie, good evening to you. Eugene, good evening to you. I hope everybody's doing fantastic. Don't forget, guys, tonight is when the stuff is due. If you haven't done so already, hopefully you have. Everything due is due tonight. Okay, so let's get that going. Hopefully, all the homework, all the tests, midnight tonight, or actually 11:59 p.m. tonight. Be chapters 5 through 8. Yusuf says, hydrate. You're lost in chapter 9. Well, we're doing the other half of chapter 9 here today, Eugene. So, hopefully, when we try, hopefully, when I talk about chapter 9 here, hopefully it'll be a bit easier to understand. Okay? There's only, to be fair, Eugene, there's only a couple of sections in chapter 9, so, and then a recap section. So, I'm a little ahead, fair enough. I have so much to do tonight. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Angie's like, I'm gonna wait until the last minute, and I'm gonna regret a lot of life choices because I keep doing this to myself. I'm like, all right. It is about 12 degrees Celsius there, Yusuf. It's about 12°C. It's not too bad. It's been pretty. It's a little cool, but it's not like anything too crazy. Especially this time of year in Chicago, it's pretty normal. We're getting right into basically we go from like summer, and then we have like a period of fall for maybe like I don't know, a few weeks, and then it transitions into winter in like November pretty quickly, and then we get winter for a structure time. I procrastinated this time because I went to a concert to see my favorite band. I regret nothing. Ah! I regret nothing! Well, I'm glad you got to see your favorite band. I don't got a problem with that. But I'm kind of curious by this logic here. Hang on a second. I gave you, 2 weeks ago I gave this assignment. So, I mean, I'm glad you got to see your favorite band, but you didn't see your favorite band for 2 weeks straight, did you, Angie? I question things. Black Veil Brides and In This Moment. I don't mind people procrastinating unless they're willing to accept said consequences, so it's fine if you regret nothing. But 2 weeks, man. I don't know. However, I will ask you this, Angie. Was the band good? Did you have fun at least? Because if the band, if you had a great time, then I suppose that's even better. It will be done, though. It will be done. All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it was Sunday. And it was filmed for a music video. Oh, wow. Oh, cool. Wonder if you'll be able to appear in the music video. That'd be cool. All right. That'd be cool as heck. All right. It's your first concert, and by the next day I had no voice. That's exactly a good concert, how a good concert should be. 100%. I remember my first concert, man. Holy smokes. That was a long time ago. My mom and my sister went with me to my first concert. I was front rail and you touched my hand. Ooh, there you go. You're definitely in the video. You gotta be in the video. You're front rail. There you go. 100%. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get started here. Let's do some intros. Let's get started. Let's do this. Babe, I cried. Please. Do me a solid, Angie. Don't cry about your grade at the end of the day. I promise you. Just don't cry. I want you to get it done. Please. Okay. Get that stuff done. Please. In the video, tears everywhere. Respect. Respect. Okay, let's get started today. Welcome back. Welcome back to Thursday, end of the week time today. So today, I'm hoping I have touched all your procrastinating hearts. Okay? I hope I've touched all your procrastinating hearts and getting your stuff done by 11:59 p.m. But in the meantime, while I make a plea to touch your procrastinating hearts and prevent myself from crying over your grades, today we're going over the other section of section 9.2. There's technically 3 sections in chapter 9, but the third section in chapter 9 is a recap section. So essentially a recap section over chapter 9. So we'll talk about that once we cross that bridge. But today we gotta do section 9.2. That is the story. That is the goal here for today. So let's go to the big board and let's see what the heck we're doing. Honestly speaking, I don't even know what I do every day. Alright. So today we're going to be dealing with another type of distribution. Alright? That's what we're going to be dealing with here today. And once again, we're going to be within the context of confidence intervals. Okay? So confidence intervals is going to be our guy. All right, and we're gonna go ahead and talk about a slightly different variation on the normal distribution. So when we talk about the normal distribution, we know it had the bell-shaped curve. We know everything is symmetric. We know everything about that. But we also have a slightly different variation of the normal distribution now. It's not exactly the same, but it does follow the similar properties here, as you can read here on the screen. And that's called a t-distribution. All right, so let's talk about what is a t-distribution here and what the difference is between that and a normal distribution. So what is a t-distribution? It is a type of distribution that closely resembles a normal distribution that includes n-1 degrees of freedom, with the population standard deviation being unknown. All right, so we introduced this concept here about about degrees of freedom here. Now, degrees of freedom, as you can tell, is dependent on n-1, where n being the sample size. So depending on how many people we ask or be part of our study, yeah, the sample size is going to have a dramatic effect about how this particular t-distribution is going to look like. But it's sort of like a normal distribution, just like kind of think of, instead of a bell-shaped curve, think of that top of the bell being a little bit more narrow and being like a very high hill. You kind of want to think of it in that respect to some degree. Well, let's take a look at these properties of said t-distribution. All right, the first property here is that the t-distribution is different for different degrees of freedom. Okay, so you have different shapes here, all right, for different degrees of freedom. If I show you here on the, let me show you really quick here. Got a decent picture. So it kind of looks like this, like you see here on the right half of your screen here. And these are like kind of the t-distribution curves. It's not exactly a normal distribution curve, which would be like the blue, but it's kind of flattened out or kind of more narrow in the center. Something like that. All right, now, every single one of these curves will be different depending on how many degrees of freedom that you're going to have. But it does follow suit that you do have similar properties, such as letter B. The t-distribution is centered at 0 and symmetric about 0. So like a normal distribution would be centered about the mean, well, a t-distribution is centered about 0. Okay, so we go left and right and 0, positive and negative. It's very similar to a normal distribution in that regard. Letter C, the area underneath the curve is 1, so that part is automatically true. Normal distribution or any probability distribution will always be 100% underneath the curve, so it'll be equal to 1. And letter D, as n increases, the density curve of the t-distribution gets closer to the normal curve. So the higher amount of people that we ask, let's say, instead of asking 100 people, let's say we ask 500 people, yeah, it's going to look more and more like a normal curve at the end of the day. So they're ideal we kind of work towards. But again, that is with a larger and larger sample size. All right. Now that we have that, let's talk about number 3. All right. Let's take a look at number 3. Number 3 is how many degrees of freedom are there for a t-distribution? Okay, so degrees of freedom here, I just kind of mentioned it here before. It's equal to the sample size minus 1, or again, n minus 1 is what we get here in this particular instance. We also can talk about here in number 4, along with these degrees of freedom, we talk about finding critical values for a t-distribution. If you want to find a manual value in the back of the book, this is, I think this is A-15. I think it's A-15 in the book. Wanna be super extra double sure, because I'm a nerd. Is it A-15 or A-14? Okay, A-. Alright, so this is from table 7 in the back of the book to determine a manual value. You can find this, you can do a little search here in the e-text on A-14. So A-14 is where you can find all these critical values depending on the degrees of freedom. I'll show you here right now. So if I just look up page A-14, it's this table right here you see on the right. Here you see degrees of freedom. There's also going to be an area of a tail or some kind. Essentially, all of these are quote-unquote critical values. Now, you don't necessarily have to use this table here, but if it does ask you for critical values, this is what they're essentially referring to. Alright. Now that's all well and good. Okay. Go back to what we need to do here. Alright. More importantly, let's talk about what we want to do here in this particular section. Let's take a look at number 5. Alright. Number 5 says, how do we construct a confidence interval for the mean when the population standard deviation is unknown? So we don't know what the population standard deviation is, but we could be given, say, a sample standard deviation, and we could be given, say, a sample size. Alright. So here is how we can go ahead and find, say, said margin of error. It is using a critical value here, depending on your confidence level, times the sample standard deviation, that's S, divided by the square root of the sample size. So just like so. As I pointed out here, critical value can be obtained through the back of the book on A-14 using degrees of freedom in the confidence level. Alright. Now we need to do a couple of examples for sure, because we're going to go ahead and showcase exactly how we can find this confidence interval here using our good old textbook. So let's do it, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Okay. Right, I'm gonna do that one. I remember I had one set up already. All right. Let's do this. So we're going to do number 28 here on in the book. So let's do this together. All right, 28. Hungry or thirsty? How much time do Americans spend eating or drinking? Suppose for a random sample of 1,001 Americans aged 15 or older, the mean amount of time spent eating or drinking per day is 1.22 hours with a standard deviation of 0.65 hours. Alright, we're going to look at letter C. Letter C says, determine and interpret a 95% confidence interval for the mean amount of time Americans aged 15 or older spend eating and drinking each day. Okay. Alright, so let's take stock in some, again, some information that we already have. First of all, we're given a mean here. Alright, so let's look at the mean here. Mean here is 1.22. And we have a standard deviation, a sample standard deviation here, of 0.65. Okay. We're also given a confidence level here of 95% for this part, so 95% confidence level. All right. And we are also given a sample size here. We asked 1,001 people. So specifically 1,001 people here is our sample size in this particular problem. Okay, so we're going to need to use all this information here in order for us to go ahead and find what the confidence interval is going to be with this information given. All right. First and foremost here, I'm going to ask everybody in the chat here really quick to please take out your calculator. All right. So if you have your calculator out in front of you, please type got it in the chat so I know we can do the calculator stuff here together. Please type got it in the chat once you have your calculator out in front of you. All right. I just want everybody to be on the same page as we go through this process. So, all right. Hopefully everybody is okay. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and move forward then. Unless they're gonna be hopefully not having too much trouble. All right. We got our calculator in front of us. So what we're gonna do now is we're going to, let's go ahead and start and see how we can get this confidence interval. We're going to go ahead and hit the stat key here on our calculator. we'll hit the stat key here, and we're going to scroll over to tests. Okay, so we're going to scroll over to tests. Now, the one I would like you to choose here in this case is I would like you to scroll down to number 8, which says t-interval. Number 8, we're going to use the specific function of t-interval. Okay. Let me go ahead and put that in the chat there. And then at t-interval, I want you to go ahead and hit enter. Now, if you have the new school calculator, old school calculator, you will have this show up on regardless. Doesn't matter. So really quick, please type yes in the chat if you got to this submenu. Hopefully everybody's got their stuff there. All right. All right, Clay, we good? We get to where we're at? Okay, cool. Okay, all right, so as you can see on the very top here, now I want to take stock of what we have here. Here on the very top, underneath input, you have two options. You have data and you have stats. Now, taking a look at our example that we're using here, in this case, they gave us a mean, a standard deviation, a sample size, and a confidence level. All those things are stats. So what I would like you to do for this type of problem here is I'd like to scroll over to stats and hit enter. And the numbers, the stuff below should change just like so. Okay. So this is what we have. Now, underneath this little area, let's go ahead and talk about the numbers we need to enter in. The first number that we're going to enter in is going to be the mean. And the mean here is going to be 1.22, according to our problem. Next is the SX, which represents the sample standard deviation. So that was given to us as 0.65 for our problem. Next, we have N, which is our sample size. So that's going to be 1001. All right, just like so. And then finally, we have our confidence level, our C level, which, pretty much 0.95. Again, that's what it defaults to, but that represents our 95% confidence level. So again, if there's a different number in there for whatever reason, then just type in 0.95. And let's go to calculate. All right, so I would like you to once again type in "got it" in the chat if you got the answer that you see here on your screen, on your calculator. All right, very good. All right, so this is our confidence interval here. All right, so we have 1.1797 and we have 1.2603. Perfect. Okay, so everybody's on board with that. Excellent. All right. Now the important part here is let's discuss what we talked about here last time. You could get a margin of error for this. It's not too hard to get a margin of error for this. What is a little bit more important for this specifically is talking about the interpretation of said confidence interval. Okay, so in a lot of the questions you'll encounter on the homework, it'll always be about the interpretation. What does it mean with the given the context of the question? Well, let's take a look here. I'll put this here on the handout. So let's look back at the handout here and take a look at the interpretation. So let's read down here for a moment. So the interpretation is we are 95% confident. So again, just going through everything here, right? So once again, we're using the similar template that we did from here last time with a couple caveats. All right, so we are 95% confident, so that didn't change from last time. Now in this case here, we're talking about the mean time of all. So I can put this here. I know time is different. This happens to be in the context of the problem, but it's the mean time or the mean distance or the mean amount. Okay, whatever you want. Okay, I don't know. It just depends on the context here. But the mean blank of all, in this case, time of all, and then Americans 15 plus spent eating or drinking is between 1.1797 and 1.2603 hours. All right. But if you're working ahead, Eugene, yeah, I can understand why that didn't make sense. That makes sense. So I tried again, Eugene. I tried the path of least resistance for the class. Gotta go through this carefully. We'll be doing another example here, Eugene, for sure. All right. And so again, we are blank percent confident that the mean blank of all context is between two values. And there you go. That's it. All right. As simple as that. There any questions about that? I hope everybody understands exactly how we can now find the interval and also at the same time interpret said interval. Any questions? So hopefully you understood this question here, because we're going to go off and do another question for sure. All right, let's go ahead and move forward here then. Let's do the other example I want to do here. All right. So, let's see. Where is there? Okay. So the next one I want to do here is going to be number 33. So let's do that. Okay. So let's look at number 33 here. It's not too bad of a problem here. So let's take a look. So number 33, crash test results. Following data represents the repair cost for a low impact collision in a simple random sample of mini and micro vehicles such as the Chevy Aveo or the Mini Cooper. All right, we're gonna go ahead and do letter C here, and let's go ahead and take a look at this. Yes, I'll acknowledge that now. I'm already deep in this problem, so I gotta do it. Constructed and interpreted 95% confidence interval for the population mean cost of repair. All right. So, let's look at this one here. So let's, in this case though, we're missing some information, okay? What we are given is we're given some values here for these repair costs, okay? But we're not given any of the information that you see up here outside of the 95% confidence interval and the sample size. So at least we can acknowledge those two things. We have a 95% confidence level, and we have a sample size here, specifically how many of these things do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 10 of them. We have 10. Our sample size here is 10. Okay? Everybody hopefully with me here so far. Alright. Alright, now for this particular problem here, I'm going to go ahead and put this on the right. Okay, I'm going to put the book on the right here. And I'm going to go ahead and put the calculator here on the left, because we're going to do this here together. Alright? So, with your calculator in front of you here, I want you to go ahead and hit the stat key. I want you to go to edit, number 1. we're going to go ahead and enter in these values you see here for number 33 into list number 1. Now, if you have existing values in list 1 or list 2, remember to highlight the list, hit the clear key, hit the enter key to clear out both lists. So again, clear key and enter key will clear out those lists. In list 1, let's go ahead and put in all our values. Alright, so you should have 10 values here. So please in the chat, please type in entered in the chat once you have all your values entered for number 33 in your calculator. Please type out the word entered. Okay, Chio's got it. Okay, Chimpin, good. Okay. Good. Just make sure everybody's on the same page. Everybody else, I think we're okay. Alright. Okay. So hopefully we have our values entered in, no problem. Alright. So, wait, are we missing Eugene? Eugene, you got your stuff entered? Or maybe Eugene stepped away. Okay. Alright. Okay, so next what I would like you to do here is I'd like you to go ahead and hit the second key, hit the mode key. Let's quit to the main screen here once again, making sure we don't enter in anything wrong in our lists. Alright. You good? Okay, good, Eugene. It's just a little concern. Okay, so we're gonna go back and hit the stat key here. Gonna scroll over to tests. Let's scroll down back to number 8. Alright, this time though, we are not going to be using stats here, like it says up top. We're now going to be using data. We're going to go over to data here. We're going to hit enter. Get to where we need to be. So this is what you should see here. Now, first thing is the list. This should automatically be defaulted to L1, but if not, if it's not defaulted to L1, just in case, you can hit second and 1, and that will bring up list 1. The next one here is frequency. This should be left alone. This should be 1 and leave it alone. Do not enter anything in for frequency. Leave it alone at 1. 1, just leave it at that. The last one here is, of course, our confidence level, which, of course, is 95% or 0.95. If it's not already in there as a default value, type in 0.95. And then we'll go ahead and hit calculate. So let's go ahead and take a look at our confidence interval here. We have 1035.8 and 2477.2. Okay, it does give you the halfway point here, which is 1756.50, so that's what that X bar means. It's kind of like your halfway point in your confidence interval. And it also gives you the standard deviation in your data set, which is 1007. And as you can see here, we also confirm the number of data items in the data set as 10. Please type yes in the chat if you got these values on your calculator. Yes? Okay. Good. All right. Now, the real question is, let's talk about the real question. Okay. What is the interpretation All right, he said Anna. Good. So let's talk about the interpretation here about this particular question. Let me go back for just a moment. All right, I'll put this in chat here. What is the interpretation of this confidence interval for number 33? What is that interpretation going to be? And again, this is talking about cost of repairs. If it helps, again, here, I'll put this over here. I know this is kind of hard to do with 3 screens at once. We'll do it that way. So this is the, again, the template that you see down here. So go ahead and type that out in chat. What would be that said interpretation? Dylan Tennis Boy with the prime sub, buddy. How you doing? You don't have to sub to prime to me. I'm just a scrub, my friend. Thank you, man. Love the hair. Very good. It's gonna... It's probably what you're gonna see when I come over for my trip. More than likely. I was like, it's just a lot easier to manage. I don't have to worry about it too much, you know? I like your... Shorter than I had it? Yeah, I got a 1 and a half all over. My hair is super thin, so it's like takes about 10 minutes. Takes a few months here. We're 95% confident the mean cost of all repair for low impact collisions between that and that. Got a pizza on the way. How's your hair doing, Dylan? Is your hair growing back pretty well? It should be. You're pretty young. Should be alright. Alright. So we're 95% confident that the mean cost of all... Okay, very good, guys. Mean cost of all minor collision repairs or repair for low impact collisions, both just fine, is between, or cost between, both perfectly fine. Perfect. Okay. So this is exactly what I have here. Number 33, we are 95% confident that the mean cost of all, in this case, mini and micro vehicles, that's, again, part of the time, and low impact collisions is between 1035.80 and 2477.20. Alright? Yeah, that's what we should do, Dylan. See, what kind of pizza are you getting, Dylan? I have to ask. You know, and where you're getting your pizza from. It's important. Quality, my friend. It's growing back well, good. Dylan's gonna have a big beard by the time he is the time you're getting to my age, man. You're gonna have a big bushy beard. A meaty with... I don't even know how to... My dude. How do I even say... I don't even know what that is. And just by writing it down, it just looks terrible. You should think of all the connotations when you write that sentence in about a type of pizza with ice cream. If anybody else in the chat wants to not disagree with me. God. All right. I gotta get my head out of the gutter. What I gotta do. All right. Oh my gosh. All right. Oh goodness. All right. Now you write that, it's like, well, what do you want me to say? All right. Any questions about that example there? So we're 95% confident that the mean cost of mini and micro vehicles in low impact collisions is between 1035.80 and 2477.20. Now, I want to talk about a couple of other things here, really quick. If there's no questions about that, I want to at least acknowledge a couple more parts here, and then I gotta talk about one other thing here for sure. Um, a letter D here. It says they ask here for letter D, and you may get this question here for the homework, so just kind of covering bases. It says, suppose you obtain a random sample size of n equals 10 of a Mini Cooper. Oh my god. That was in a low impact collision. Determine the cost of repair. Do you think a 95% confidence interval will be wider or narrower? In this case, surprisingly enough, if you were just taking the cost of repair for Mini Coopers alone, this would be narrower. And the reason why this would be narrower here is because you're just taking the same car and you're finding out the repair cost for the same car. So, since you're not taking a cross-section of cars, you're just taking the same car and just the Mini Cooper, then the costs are going to be hovering right around the same amount, alright, irrespective. Alright, so in this case, because it's just one type of vehicle, it will be narrower. Another question that you could run into is, and I kind of forgot to do this here for 28, so I'm going to go back to the previous example here, but just another side question here real fast. And that asked, could the interval be used to estimate the mean amount of time a 9-year-old spends eating or drinking? And if you see a question like this, okay, where it says, in this case, can you estimate for a 9-year-old? The answer for that is no, because that doesn't fit within the context of the problem. Because, again, everybody who we asked here happened to be 15 or over, all right? Right on, my friend, right on. So, all the again, since the people we polled were 15 and older, actually, extrapolating that to a 9-year-old doesn't make any sense at all in terms of determining how much time that particular 9-year-olds spend eating or drinking. So, again, we want to work only within the context, and we can't extrapolate to anything outside of that context. Okay, so just want to be sure we have those bases covered there. If you do get those questions, you understand exactly why it is the way it is. Okay. For the buns. Now, I got to show this. So let me... Okay. Let's bring this. Sorry to say, Dylan, your pizza is no match to our pizza. Okay? I'm just gonna have to say, Chicago represents pizza. That's how we do. Best pizza in the world, Chicago-style pizza. 100%. Alright. I'm just gonna state that here. Okay, so what we're gonna talk about here next, okay, just ignore this stuff that you see here on the screen. I want to go down here to a summarization, because that's what section 9.3 talks about. Yeah, man. You know what? Actually, let me ask this while I'm looking this up here. What is everybody's favorite pizza place in the Chicagoland area? Everybody's favorite pizza place. Go. State it in chat. I know it's hard, but you gotta pick one. You gotta pick one. The one you would frequent the most often compared to the others, because there's a lot of great places, no question. Rosati's Giordano's really good. Giordano's is great. Rosati's is pretty good. Giordano's. Rosati's. I'm a big Lou's fan myself, Lou Malnati's. But Giordano's and Rosati's is really good. Anybody been to Pequod's before? Have you guys been to Pequods? I don't know if you guys been to Pequods before. So there's... No? Okay. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Okay. I love me Ryan Rosati's and Giordano's and Lou's. Okay. All great places. Okay. But Pequods, by far and away, ladies and gentlemen, is the best pizza I've ever had in this city. It is so good. The only problem is that I can only go there every once in a while. There's only 2 locations in the Chicagoland area, right? So, obviously, you just can't find it. It's not like a chain, or it's not like a chain like Rosati's, Giordano's, or Lou's, okay? So, you know, it's more, but it is local, right? So, they got a couple locations. One's downtown, and then one's in Morton Grove, which is a little bit closer. But Pequods is a banging, absolutely fantastic pizza place. Let's see if we can get the... See if we can get a picture of... They have 4.5 stars. That's no joke, my friends. Yeah, here we go. Here's a picture. Let's get some images. Yeah. Let's get some images of some Pequods. Yes. It is nice and toasty. Serve it to you fresh. The pizza is absolute fire. Okay, this pizza is legit. You gotta go there. You sit down. It's so good, so good. It's a shame that it's not even close to where we live. But you know what? You go there for the once in a while aspect, and I think you guys will like that. So, 100%, I would go and get some Pequods. Yes, absolutely true, Chimpin, absolutely true. Okay. So for those of you who haven't tried this, the first time I went was when my sister actually... I think we were, what did we do? We had like a birthday for one of my cousins, right? And they got us a table at Pequods in Morton Grove. You just call ahead, and then we were able to sit down, and yeah, that pizza was... Man. I was like, holy smokes. It's unbelievable. So, if you guys do this over the weekend, tell me how it was. Tell me what your opinion was when we come back on, on Tuesday. I want to see what you guys think. You know, I thought it was excellent. I took my friend from New York. I took him to Pequods downtown. That was an excellent time. We had a wonderful time. Wonderful pizza. I think it's some of the best pseudo deep dish in Chicago. I can't rave about it enough. I highly recommend. Highly recommend. Exchequer. I don't think I've been there before, but I'm gonna check that out. Let's check out that place. Exchequer. Let me see. I gotta make sure I... let's see. Pizza. Here we go. Oh, here we go. Oh my goodness, that looks bang. Ooh, that looks good too. Woo. Chimpin', you have good taste here. You have good taste. You know what I kind of wish, man? Man, now I'm thinking about food. Yeah, that pizza looks pretty fire. Is that a heating element? Like, I'm looking at this picture here. They put a little heater below it, right? Like right here. Is this supposed to be catching the cheese, or is this like a heating element, or is that just the pan? I could very well be wrong. I can't tell. Maybe it's just the pan. I'm just looking at it wrong. Not too sure. Oh, fair enough. It just reminds me of... we're gonna talk about the subject of food. It reminds me of something. So it reminds me of something that I used to do in Japan a lot, and it was called, it's literally called Genghis Khan, right? But you take strips of lamb or something like that, and you put it on this grill that looks like a. The reason why they call it Genghis Khan is you can put it on this grill. You grill the meat yourself, right? And the grill looks like a helmet from Genghis Khan's army, sort of deal. So hence why they call it that. You put like the oil around it, and then you could put like vegetables on the edge, and then there you go. You got yourself a meal with a little bit of soy sauce on the side. Yeah. Cooking your own, barbecuing your own meat, let me tell you, is so much easier with chopsticks. 10 times out of 10. Yeah, it's like Korean barbecue, but it's not, it's like Korean barbecue, but this is like a, so if you take a look here at this picture, this is a good picture here. You can see like how it's kind of raised. Where Korean barbecue is more flat, you know, it's still good though. Korean barbecue's banging, all right, no question. But, yeah, I mean it's really, really delicious. And you can literally take any strips of meat. Yeah, Genghis Khan is not found too much in Tokyo, but if you go further north, you're gonna find a lot of places that have this. Really good for meat dishes, man. So, all right. I'm getting hungry again. Holy smokes! All right. All right. We've done good things today, ladies and gentlemen. We've done good things. All right. Now I do need to talk about Section 9.3. Now, Section 9.3, ladies and gentlemen, is a recap section of the only two sections in Chapter 9. So to reduce the amount of confusion here, as Eugene was talking about here, you know, how do we reduce the confusion here? Well, I kind of broke it down into both sections here in terms of what information that you're given and what you need to use on the calculator and the interpretation, of course, in order to, you know, get what you want. So here, Section 9.1. Section 9.1 uses a population proportion P. So we ask X amount of people a question, they say yes to that question out of N amount of people, that's our sample size, so we need an X and an N here. Of course, we need a confidence level that goes with it, regardless of whatever that is. In section 9.1, we use 1 prop z int as our calculator function. Okay, that's going to be found underneath stat and tests, just the same way we found the t interval function here today. We also use formulas to find necessary sample size, so that was that one section where we had to find n and all that stuff. Alright, in any case, the interpretation here for these confidence intervals follows the same standard here. We said we are blank % confident that the proportion of all context is between blank and blank. Okay, so there's our template there for the interpretation of said confidence interval for 9.1, given a population proportion P using 1 prop z int. In today's section, we used a t distribution. Okay, we need a sample size to find the degrees of freedom. Sample size, I don't disagree with that, Eugene. It's true. It's true. You need a sample size and to find degrees of freedom. We use the t-interval function here on the calculator. So we use the t-interval function here on the calculator, just as we did here today. You can use stats or a data set, depending on what you're given in the problem. So we looked at one example of both. And then we said we assume the population standard deviation is unknown. This is true. You'll only be given the sample standard deviation and the sample mean. All right. And then, of course, the interpretation that we discussed here today, it says we are blank % confident that the population mean for all context is between blank and blank. All right. So that is essentially the generic template for the interpretation of all those confidence intervals from section 9.2, the one we did here today. All right. And so that is section 9.3, again, is just reiterating what we just did here in both sections. So there's not anything new in that section there as opposed to, you know, just going covering from 9.1 and 9.2. So it's just like additional supplemental problems, essentially, in a section. Yeah, that's, Eugene, to be honest with you, that's why I go slow over the calculator stuff. because yeah, it can be complicated to use a calculator at times. So. And think about it this way, the TI-8384, at least the calculator we use, is not the most complex calculator. That would be like a TI Inspire. The TI Inspire is probably one of the most complicated calculators to use. There's just so much you can do on that. It's insane. Alright, any questions? Any questions from anyone regarding sections 9.2, 9.3? Any questions at all? Gotta hit that. Yep. All right, very good, very good. So that pretty much, ladies and gentlemen, is what we are doing for today. That's it. That's all of section 9.2 that I wanted to show off. Yeah. That's it. We're done. It's amazing. We were, yeah. I know. Good job, everybody. Good job. Just to let you know, everyone, that is effectively the end of chapter 9. And just to give you a heads up here, we have 2 more chapters left. We have chapter 10 and chapter 4, and then we are effectively done with the textbook. So we are working our way pretty quickly here to the very end of the book, and we'll have a lot of time for review here. So we are definitely well on our way to finishing up with plenty of time remaining, and with that plenty of time remaining, we'll certainly have time to answer questions and whatnot. Time to go to those restaurants and try new food. This is true. Definitely time to go to those new restaurants and try new food. I got more to... Trust me, I have a few more restaurants I can recommend here. But I will say, first things first, everybody, remember to finish up your tests and homework for chapters 5 to 7 tonight by 11:59 if you have not done so. And then basically take yourself out for a nice restaurant afterwards on the weekend. It sounds like a good idea. All right? All right, everybody. I want to thank everybody for coming on here to the stream once again. You all are absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much, Hisa. Thank you very, very kind of you to say. I hope you have a wonderful evening and weekend as well. Minus Enemy, thank you very much for the follow. Appreciate that. I hope everyone has an absolutely fantastic weekend. All right. I hope everyone has a great rest of your night. All right. Relax. Enjoy some food. Get that stuff done. Get your work done. I know you guys will do well. You guys will do fine. Dylan, have yourself a wonderful meal. I hope you have a chance to relax. I'm going to hope to see you over in London in a couple months, or when you come back from Arizona, whichever one comes first. All right. Have yourself an absolutely wonderful day and weekend, everybody. And as always, everybody, stay safe, stay healthy, but most importantly, everybody, stay sane. All right? We'll see you again on Tuesday next week, everyone. Have a great one, all right? Take care. Have a great one, Shioma. Have a good evening. All right, take care. And I'll see you later. Bye! Is there any tutoring? Yes, you can certainly contact me on Discord. You guys know where to find me. I'm on Discord, or you can email me. Absolutely, 100% if you need help. Okay? Here you go. And there you are. So should you need to talk to me on Discord, I will be on there, or feel free to email me when you have questions, Eugene, okay? All right. Take care, everyone. Have a great one. See ya. Bye, buddy.